Can you see what I'm saying, guys? Can you see the coverage? Lovelies, welcome back to another video. It's Caris here. If this is your first time, in today's video I'm going to be comparing the MAC Studio Fix Powder Foundation, comparing it with the Fenty Beauty Foundation. So we're going to be comparing these two powder, the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Soft Matte Foundation Powder, and compare it with the MAC Studio Fix Powder Foundation. So we're going to compare them in terms of the coverage, in terms of the way they apply, the pores, the price. You know, we're just going to apply it as well and just let you know in terms of flashbacks, things like that. Before we jump right into it, click the subscribe button down below. Also click the notification bell so you're notified when I upload. So we'll jump right into the specs of this video. This is what they both look like. The Fenty one looks like this. Like, it's got like a mirror with the Fenty logo here. The product is here. You open the Fenty, you go under the mirror, and then there's a sponge here. Fenty retails for £27. So the Fenty Beauty claims to be lightweight. It claims to be light to full coverage. It claims to give a matte finish. It's not non-cakey. It claims to have no flashbacks. It claims to no settling into pores, and also claims to be sweat resistant, freeze proof, and all that good stuff. This is the MAC Studio Fix. This is what it looks like. It's got a mirror as well. And then it's got the sponge here. So the Fenty has got two mirrors and the MAC has got one, but it doesn't matter. In terms of packaging, the Fenty one is really on point in terms of packaging because it just looks nice. So the MAC foundation retails for £27 as well. The Fenty is £27, so they're both the same price. So the MAC powder claims to be long wearing, lasts 12 hours. It claims to reduce pores. It says it's oil controlling, and it says it's for oily skin. No streaking, no caking. It says it's sweat proof, it's humidity resistance. It says no flashback. With the Fenty powder, I've got the shade 400, and with the MAC, I normally sometimes use NW45, but I can't find mine, so I've got two shades here for MAC. I'm gonna use both, so I've got the shade NC45 and NW50. I normally sometimes use NC50, sometimes I use NW45. But I really can't find my NW45. NC50, I think I've run out of that. So I'm just going to test this too, because this on its own, this is NW50. So it's slightly too dark for me. And the NC45 slightly too light. So I'm going to dip into the two to kind of test it out today. I'm just going to jump right into application. Right now, I've got my skin moisturized. I've got primer on. I've also got my concealer on my T-zone area. So not T-zone, but the places where I usually highlight. Here it's quite plain, I've got nothing on, and here as well I've got nothing on. And I've set my concealer with my Fenty powder, Pro Filter setting powder in honey. I'm going to be using my Real Techniques sponge. This is my Real Techniques mini sponge. I'm going to be applying the Fenty on this side, and I'm applying MAC on this side. So MAC first, yeah. So I'm going to be really looking very closely at the coverage, guys, because I'm really interested. MAC gives fantastic coverage, so this is tried and tested. I love my MAC, but I've not tried and tested so we're gonna be comparing the MAC with this today. So I'm dipping it into here, and then I'll dip it into the other one as well, and then I'm gonna apply. So if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my mirror. Can you see what I'm saying, guys? Can you see the coverage? MAC is like phenomenal in terms of coverage. I've always loved MAC. Wow. Okay, with the beauty blender, is really giving me a lot of coverage. So this is the MAC one. Just see the hyperpigmentation in my mouth area, and it's just like literally covered it ever so nicely. So I'm still using a MAC, and the coverage is insane, guys, like literally insane. So you can see all the dark spots have kind of covered up a bit. I'm going in another coverage, I'm going in again. This is what MAC is looking like so far. gonna put it on my forehead as well. So this is what MAC is looking like. I'm gonna put more here. I've gone 3 times now to kind of put the coverage, make sure the coverage, I've kind of layered it up 3 times. So this is the final layering up. But the spots have disappeared, guys, like literally it's covered up my spots. This is the MAC one. Okay, so this is MAC side. Now I'm gonna do the Fenty Beauty and see if it covers this up. So this is what MAC is looking like. I love MAC. You can tell, right? It's one of my favorite powders. It's always you know, you can just use this all over your face and you're good to go. So this is MAC side, and now I'm gonna do Fenty Beauty. I've used the first one there, and I'm using this one here. This is Fenty Beauty. Dip my hands in and start the coverage. So I start here. Oh wow. The color, right, for this Fenty is so off, so it's just a bit off. So I'm just gonna put it here. It's kind of covering the spots as well, guys. Like, coverage is fantastic as well. The color is just a bit red, and it's 400. Maybe I might just get 3 something the next time I get it. But the coverage too is good. It's covering up my spots ever so nicely. But the colors are just a bit off. So this is 400, which is supposed to match me. Look at it. It looks like my color, doesn't it? It looks like my color, but it just doesn't match. I don't know. It's got a red on it. It looks yellow, but it's red when it applies. Anyway, anywho, I'm gonna layer it just like I did, like 3 times. So this is the first layer in. Okay, so this is Fenty Beauty, first layer, and it did cover up. I'm really impressed with this. Like it covered up a lot. I'm going on the second layer now. And also it covered up the hyperpigmentation around my mouth as well. It literally covered it up. I don't think I'll layer too much of this because it's just going red and redder and redder. Okay, I'll just do just the spot area and I'll leave it at that. Ooh. Okay, so this is the spot here. I'll just try and cover. This is the spot here. I'll try and cover. Wow, the coverage is really good on this as well. The coverage is great. Okay, so this is what it's looking like. So this is MAC Studio Fix Concealer and Fenty Beauty. What do you think, guys? What do you think? Like, I think they are both full coverage. Like the coverage on both is nice, but the MAC is a nice match because obviously I've got 2 colors to mix. But MAC has always been a nice match. If I take NW45, it will match. If I take NC50, it will match depending on how light I am at the time. I love the MAC side more than this. £27, £27. So it depends on what brand you like, but the MAC is beautiful. This is amazing. Just that the colors on this ones are just off. Like everyone I've complained about it, I've seen a few reviews where no one seemed to get a shade. That's the only problem with this. But with MAC, you get your shade. You get a shade, definitely. Okay, so the MAC side, it's giving me nice coverage. I think it's medium to full coverage, so it's beautiful. So it's nice. It covers up. In terms of coverage, they are both phenomenal. I really can't see a difference, can you? In terms of the coverage, which is more full coverage, guys? Which? To be fair, they are both. I think with the Fenty one, it's just the color that is off, but it covered up my spot pretty nicely. But I think maybe the MAC might have a bit more full coverage than the Fenty. What do you think? just a tad bit, right? There's no real difference, guys, but the MAC might have more coverage when you pack it on than the Fenty, possibly. Tell me what you think, you know, comment down below, let me know what you think. So far, none of them have settled into my pores at all. They're both looking fantastic. I like the way they feel, and they don't feel heavy. The MAC one, I used to think MAC feels heavy, but it doesn't feel heavy or even cakey at the moment. So they both feel really, really nice. In terms of what they claim, they're both full coverage. I think they're both full coverage. But with the Fenty one, my pores are showing up a tiny bit and the spots are a bit, it's not as blurred as the MAC. The MAC is like insanely good. The MAC is really smooth. It's smoother than the Fenty one, guys. I've got to give it to MAC. Like it's smoother, like way smoother. It covered really seamlessly as well. Like is amazing. The Fenty one, the spots are still slightly more visible. Doesn't settle into pores or anything, but it's still not as smooth as this one. Liking the MAC one because I think it's more full coverage. That's my opinion. I don't know, what do you think? Comment down below. But the MAC one is giving me more full coverage than the Fenty one at the moment. So I like the coverage more. I like the way it looks more. I think it's settled really nicely and it's non-cakey. They're both non-cakey, they're both good coverage, but I prefer the MAC one, apologies, the MAC one over this one. I just like this one. It's more smooth, it's more full coverage because I can't see any spot here at all now, literally no spot. But here I can still see some spots peeking through. See some, so let me see if I can add in more to this side. Let's just see. Yeah, it's not really covering like the MAC one. MAC one is really just, as soon as you put it, it's just covering it. So yeah, this is more beautiful, yes, but it's not giving that smooth cover that this is giving. So this is more full coverage than this one. So that's my view. So MAC is more full coverage than Fenty. MAC is more smooth in terms of, you know, a nice blurred, nice look than Fenty, but I think Fenty is more beautiful, so I was able to add more without any problems at all. So it's more beautiful. You can layer this, definitely can layer Fenty more than the MAC, and it doesn't even look like it's getting any cakey or anything like that, and it's just blending nicely when I'm adding more. It's just, you know, for people that want extra full coverage, they go for MAC. But if you want like a nice beautiful thing, like a not too full coverage but there, Fenty is what you go for. So people that want extreme full coverage like me, go for MAC. And people that just want nice, yeah, nice beautiful coverage, go for this one, which is Fenty. And yeah, so that's my opinion so far. I'm just gonna do the rest, complete the rest of my makeup, and then I'm gonna come back to kind of let you guys know my final thoughts on these two products. And I'm back. I finished the rest of my makeup. I put a bit of blusher and a bit of lipstick and eyeshadow and a bit of mascara today. And yeah, this is what it's looking like. This is the MAC side, this is the Fenty side. In terms of my final views, I really like the MAC side. It's really nice. The only thing about the MAC side is that it's now settled into my fine lines. This is like 45 minutes later and it's settled into my smile lines more than the Fenty one. The Fenty one is more like airbrush, so it didn't settle into my smile lines like this did. So the MAC one settled right in. So the MAC one potentially could be more cakey as compared to the Fenty one. But in terms of coverage and the look of it, I like the MAC one, but I just don't like the way it's settled in straight into my smile lines here. But the Fenty one is looking really good. It's not settled in as much as the MAC one. I like the way it looks on my skin, both sides. I really like the way they both look. I think in terms of the formulation, they're both similar. In terms of the coverage, they're both similar, but I really like the MAC side better than this one. They're really similar. There's not much difference between the two. The Fenty one, it's not as smooth, so I can still see some pores and some pores in there, but the MAC one is smoother, so it literally covers up my closed pores more than the Fenty one. So the Fenty one, you can still see some pores, and this, there is no pores. It literally smoothing it out, covers up the pores. There's no, it's really smoother. It's more, it's smoother than the Fenty. The Fenty Beauty one is more natural. That's why it didn't really sink into my my smile lines. It's more natural. So if you want more of a natural medium to full coverage look, then go for this. But if you want full coverage with real smoother, go for the MAC. But this is more natural. So if you want more natural kind of flow and something you can build and pack on throughout the day, because sometimes with this MAC one, if you pack it on too much, it gets a bit cakey. But I think with this, it might not be that cakey, because when you add, it doesn't do much. Like, it doesn't look like you're adding. So with the Fenty one, is more natural. So with the natural girls that want to go light, it be air-like. Yeah, so I think I agree with them when they say it's light as air. But with this one, if you want smooth coverage, go for this. If you want your makeup to be really smooth, literally covered up all the pores here. Literally, with this you can use on your own without a foundation. With this, I would use a foundation first, because the coverage is there, but it's not too much, but you can use it on its own as well. So all in all, it literally depends on what you're looking for. For the MAC one, if you're looking for full coverage, if you're looking for something that literally very smooth and covers up all the spots, go for MAC. If you're looking for something that covers medium to full coverage, something you can build, something that is more natural, go for this. Especially for us that tend to put on foundation before powder, so go for this if you want that. But I like MAC. I really like the formula. I like the way I like the formula. I like the way it blended. But the only thing now is, the difference is I can see that the MAC has settled into my left smile lines, like my smile lines, more than the Fenty one. So that shows it's gonna be a bit cakey, you know, but this is not settled in on the smile lines. So if that bothers you, then go for Fenty, because Fenty is more natural than the MAC one. And also the Fenty one, in terms of colors, is a bit off. The colors are just all over the place, not very good at all. The MAC one, I've always used MAC. The colors are spot on. So let me know in the comment section below, do you have Fenty? Did you manage to get your perfect shade on this? And you know, what do you guys think? Because I don't know which is the winner here. I love my MAC because this is my staple. I actually love the Fenty. I like the way it doesn't sit into the smile lines or the laugh line. I don't know what it's called, but it's nice. It's more like air. Like with this, I think you can layer it. You can really layer this more throughout the day. So this would be perfect for oily skin girls that touch up all through the day. I like this already, but I know this can get a bit cakey, but I just like the coverage of this. So I really can't pick which I'm gonna use. It depends on what you want, technically what you're going for, but I've got these two powders, I'm gonna use them. In terms of my final thoughts, both of this foundation are worth it. They are both good foundation, just depends on what you're going for. I did a flashback test and I'll put a picture with and without the light. Yeah, so both of this foundation do not have flashbacks. So neither of this foundation have flashbacks. So that's really good news, because you don't want to take a picture and it's looking all white and there is a stack line there. So it's quite good that they both don't have flashbacks. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you did. Also, comment down below, let me know what you think. Subscribe to my channel as well. Click on the notification so you're notified as soon as I upload. I'll see you in my next one, guys. Bye.